بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. In the recent years, there has been a growing trend of individuals who are disenchanted with religion. People who are leaving religion and uninterested in following religion. And this is an issue that all religions face. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and all other religions. There is a group of people that feel that they don't belong within the religious community. Why? Because the religious community is too judgmental. Because the religious community is always telling them this is right and this is wrong, you're going to heaven, you're going to hell, this is good, this is bad. And people, they say, I'm tired of this. I don't like it when people judge me. I don't want people telling me this is right and this is wrong, do this and do that. And we find that this disease or this problem also exists within the Muslim community as well. There are some that have the impression that the religion of Islam is a religion of taboos. Do this, do that, this is right, this is wrong. If you do this, you'll go to heaven. If you do this, you're going to go to hell. And some people, they say, you know what? I don't want to have to deal with that. I would rather not attend a mosque. I would rather not attend a church. I would rather not attend a place of worship where I feel I'm always being judged, where there's always eyes on me telling me what to do. Now, within the Muslim community, to an extent, this is very true. This does happen. There are many Muslims who are very judgmental. There are many Muslims who make everything be taboo. But the point is, the religion of Islam is not like this. There's a very big difference between Islam and Muslims. Muslims practice in one way, and the religion of Islam teaches us something completely different. And we find that this disease takes place within some communities, within some cultures, within some groups of people, where some people, they decide on taking up the position of God. They come and they want to decide who goes to heaven and who goes to hell, and whether this person, God is punishing them for whatever reason, and this person, God is rewarding them. This happens. This happens, and this is something that is very common. For example, they see someone who's suffering, someone who's not doing so well financially. They say, yes, God is punishing this person. God is getting revenge from this person. Or someone who is not doing so well, this person is going to hell. Another person, this person is going to heaven. You find a lot of people, they come and they want to take up that position, deciding who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. And this is something that no one decides. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it's only God that looks at our hearts. Inna akramakum indallah atqakum. Allah knows who is the one who's closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Perhaps there's someone who might not look very religious, but in reality this person is more religious than the people who dress up as very religious, people who look very religious. So we are in no position to judge people. However, this attitude that people have pushes a lot of people away from religion. You ask some people, why don't you attend the mosque? They say, I don't attend the mosque because of people. I don't have a problem with God. I don't have a problem with praying. But I have a problem with the people that attend the mosque. They're very judgmental. They tell me this is right, this is wrong, do this, do that. I don't want to have to deal with that. And this has a very negative consequence on the overall collective community. On the Muslim community, and other communities face this. Now, is this what the religion of Islam teaches us? Did Rasulullah, did Prophet Muhammad come and tell every person who wants to be religious to be a judgmental person? To be a person who decides the fate of other people? Of course not. Did Rasulullah come and force people to believe? Of course not. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa he came to remind people. He didn't come to control the lives of people. He didn't come to decide the fate of people. He came to remind people, and this is the task of all of the prophets. Allah says in the Quran, فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُذَكِّرْ لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُسَيْطِرْ. Remind people, O Rasulullah. All you do is remind people, and you have no control over people. You have no control over the hearts of people. And this was not only the task of Rasulullah, this was the task of every prophet. The prophets didn't force people to believe in the religions that they were calling. The prophets, all they did was remind people. In another verse, Allah says, ذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. All you have to do is remind people. People are created with that innate subconscious, with the fitrah. People already are programmed to go to God. People are gravitated to faith. But sometimes they just need someone to remind them. They don't need someone to force them. They don't need someone to teach them something new. Religion and prayer and getting closer to God, this is not a new phenomenon. This is something that we are programmed with. We just need prophets and messengers to remind us. And this is why it's always good to remind ourselves. فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So we see that the prophets, the task of the messengers was not to force people. It was not to control people. The task of the prophets and the messengers was to guide people and show people the way. Yes, we have a concept by the name of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahi an al Munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. This is a duty upon every Muslim. However, there are restrictions and conditions. Not any person can come out there and say, okay, I see evil going on and I want to forbid the evil and enjoin the good. There are conditions, there are restrictions. You have to be qualified in order to call people to do the good. You have to be qualified, you have to be fit in order to show people the right way. And there are ways. There's a technique in calling upon people, calling people and inviting people towards the faith. Allah teaches us in the Quran, Allah says, ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Invite people through wisdom, through admonishments. Show people the true faith. Show people the beauty of the religion. Show people the mercy of the religion. Don't force religion upon people. We talked about this yesterday in the lecture on the relations between Muslims and non-Muslims. Rasulullah, he never forced religion upon people. And Rasulullah was always instructed by God. And not only Rasulullah, all of the prophets, they were instructed by God to invite people in the best way possible. God sends Moses and his brother Aaron, Harun. Allah sends them to Fir'aun, to Pharaoh. Pharaoh was saying, I'm God. Pharaoh was a dictator. Pharaoh was a tyrant. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Musa, who's a prophet, and Allah knows what's in the heart of Pharaoh. Allah tells Musa, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى. Go to Fir'aun because he has transgressed, and say something very softly. قولا له قولا لينا. Be very soft in your approach. Don't be rude. Don't force religion upon people. Be calm. Be soft in your approach towards people so that you don't push him away. And this is how God sent all of the prophets. All of the prophets, they came with good manners. They came with good etiquettes. However, today, we find that these etiquettes, these manners of inviting people to the faith, they're very far away from the Muslim community. Even though these are Islamic, these are religious etiquettes, but you find a lot of people who practice, they don't follow these. A lot of people who practice, they don't follow these. And this is what hinders the growth of religions. This is what hinders the growth of the religion of Islam. It's not the religion of Islam, it's not the Quran, it's not the Prophet that stops people from coming to the mosque, that stops people from joining the religion. It's the actions of Muslims. It's the actions of people who claim to be following the path of God. And we find many times a lot of issues are created, taboos. Taboos are created, which are things that are prohibited or restricted by social custom. We find that our social custom, it creates certain taboos, things that the religion of Islam does not make a taboo. We make it a taboo. And inshallah tomorrow we'll go deeper into this when we talk about the difference between culture and religion. Because there's a very big difference between the Muslim culture, the culture that many Muslims practice, and the religion of Islam. Tonight we will analyze it from the perspective of taboos, things that are made to be seen prohibited, things that are made to be seen wrong, when in reality they're not very wrong. And they need to be addressed properly. One of those issues which is considered to be a taboo in many communities, many uneducated communities, is the idea of being a free thinker. The idea of having the freedom of speech and the freedom of thought. You find in many communities, as soon as someone is thinking, as soon as someone has a new idea, right away they tell him, no, this is wrong. You're being a deviant. You're doing something that is wrong, and you're posing a threat to the community. You're posing a threat to society. You find communities, some communities of course, they try to shut any freedom of thought. Anyone who has a new idea, something new to offer, because people resist change. People do not accept change very well. Does the Quran allow this? Does the Quran come with this idea? Of course not. The religion of Islam not only allows us to be free thinkers, we have to be free thinkers. Can I follow the religion just because my father is following that religion? Because my ancestors are following that religion? Of course not. You have to follow your religion. You have to reach certainty on your own. You have to follow the right path on your own, based on your own conclusions. You came and you reached this religion on your own. You can't just say, I'm believing because other people are. You have to be a free thinker when it comes to religion. This is why all scholars say that there's no taqleed in usul ad-din. You can't emulate other people. You can't say, I believe in God because my father believes in God. I believe in the Day of Judgment because my mother believes in the Day of Judgment. I believe because my family believes. No, you need to reach your own conclusions. You need to believe. You need to go analyze and study. And how does this happen? This happens when you have the freedom of thought. when you have the freedom to think, when you have the freedom of speech. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with. The greatest gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the human being is the power of the intellect. The power of the intellect is what differentiates the human being from all other creation. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the intellect, the aql, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to the aql. Allah tells it, aqbil, come. And it comes because it knows that it makes sense to believe in God and listen to the orders of God. Adbir, go back. It goes. It obeys Allah. And then Allah says, وَعِزَّتِي وَجَلَالِي مَا خَلَقْتُ خَلْقًا أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِنْكَ بِكَ أُثِيبُ وَبِكَ أُعَاقِبُ. Allah says, I have not created anything more beloved to me than the intellect. And through the intellect, I'm going to reward people. And through the intellect, I'm going to punish people. This is why in Islam, there's an insistence on being a free thinker. The Islam of Rasulullah, the Islam of Imam Ali, the Islam of Imam al-Hussein, who we are gathered here today to commemorate. To be a free thinker, to be someone who thinks independently, not someone who's forced to think like other people, to be like other people. It was during the Muslim golden era where the Muslims, they allowed all different thoughts and ideologies to enter the Muslim world. Today, the philosophy that we study today, the philosophy that is taught in the universities today, Plato and Aristotle and Socrates, where do we have all of their teachings today? All of the teachings that are taught in English today in the books and in the universities, they came from the Muslim world. Because it was the Muslims during the Muslim golden era that took all of these Greek texts and Roman texts and they translated them into the Arabic language, and then they were translated to other languages. Why? Because the Muslims at that time during the Muslim golden era, they were not afraid of a different idea. They were not afraid of a different thought. And as a Muslim, you should not be afraid. You should not be afraid of any different idea. In Islam, we don't have the concept of just believe, you just have to believe. No. In Islam, you need to think, you need to realize, you need to come up with your own conclusion of faith. And this is what our religion teaches us. However, there has always been a group of people in history that would follow blindly the prophets and the messengers of God. They would go to people who were idol worshippers. They would tell them, how do you worship an idol? It doesn't make sense that you're worshiping something that you created. And then Allah describes what their reply was. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا أَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا. When the prophets tell them, follow what God has sent down upon you, and they would come with logic, they would come with reason, they would say, no, we're going to follow what our ancestors are doing. We're going to follow what our forefathers are doing. Blindly. And then the Quran challenges people. The Quran always challenges every human being. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Do they not ponder? Do they not think? Do they not realize? The religion of Islam wants us all to be free thinkers. But yes, there are tyrants, there are dictators that try to control people by telling them, no, you can't talk. You can't think freely. You don't have the freedom to think. This is how tyrants have always been. Allah describes what Pharaoh used to tell his people. فَاسْتَخَفَّ قَوْمَهُ فَأَطَاعُوهُ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَوْمًا فَاسِقِينَ. Pharaoh, he used to belittle the minds of people. He didn't care about their ideas. فَاسْتَخَفَّ قَوْمَهُ. He belittled their intellect. فَأَطَاعُوهُ. Then they continued to follow him blindly. They didn't use their intellect. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَوْمًا فَاسِقِينَ. You see, people that try to control, they do that by taking away the power of reason, by taking away the power of intellect. When slaves were brought into the United States, when slaves were first brought here, they were not allowed to read. They were not allowed to go to church. They were not allowed to do anything that would educate them. Why? Because if they're educated, then they're going to be liberated. But people who want control, they don't want people to be liberated. This is a problem that has occurred within the Muslim community, not because of Islam, but because of individuals and groups of people who came and assumed power wrongfully, and in order to maintain a firm grip on power, they want people to stay in the darkness. They want people to be ignorant. They want people to not have the power of reason. They didn't give them the privilege to think properly. You see that as soon as the Prophet passed away, right after the death of Rasulullah, what did they do? Right after the death of the Prophet, the establishment that came to power, they came and they said, whoever has a hadith of the Prophet, anyone who has a narration of the Prophet, a sunnah, come and bring them. So all of the Muslims, this one he's written something, this one has something, they gathered them and they burned them. They burned them to keep people in their ignorance, to keep people away from the Ahlul Bayt, because it's through the Ahlul Bayt that we liberate ourselves. Imam al-Hussein on the day of Ashura, he tells the people, Ya Shi'ata Ali Abi Sufyan, إن لم يكن لكم دين وكنتم لا تخافون المعاد فكونوا أحرارا في دنياكم. O Shia of Abu Sufyan, you are the followers of Abu Sufyan. If you are not afraid of God, if you don't have faith, at least be free people. At least be free men. Why are you forced to come and fight someone else's war? Yazid, he's sitting in Damascus. He's claiming to be a leader, and you are going to go to hell by killing the grandson of the Prophet. He tells them, Kunu ahraran fi dunyakum. Be free men. Be free thinkers. But there was always a group that did not want people to think. Don't want people to realize. And you see that this still persists in some communities today. Some communities, as soon as anyone says anything, right away, no, you're wrong. You don't have the right to think. You don't have the right to realize. This is not true. In our faith, in our teachings, we have the right to think. And even at the highest levels of fiqh and jurisprudence, we have in the Shia school of thought, we have Babul Ijtihad. We have the door of Ijtihad, meaning that laws are not written in stone. Laws are subject to change. Not every single law is written to change. Babul Ijtihad maftuh, meaning that scholars, they see fit, if it needs, they are able to change certain laws. Now, of course, when we talk about someone being a free thinker, someone having the freedom of speech, we don't talk about a group of people who come and they want to sabotage the religion. Because there's always, every community has one or two of those people as well, where they come and for everything they want to criticize. But it's not constructive criticism. They just want to damage. They just want to ruin what has already been built. It's not a constructive criticism. Or sometimes some people, they think they're free thinkers because they took one course on feminism or one course on something in the university, and then suddenly they think they're liberated. They come and they're being the mouthpiece of someone else. They're not being real free thinkers. They're just coming and relaying something else that is taught, but they come and they think that that is the truth. Be an independent thinker. Don't let people force you into an idea. Go and do reason. Go and learn. Go and teach yourself. Go and educate, and then you'll come with a right conclusion. And this is what our religion calls us to do. Now, this is one of the taboo issues that we were talking about. Certain things that are taboo in our communities. Now, I want to move a little bit to something else, another subject, another taboo topic in our community, and that is the topic of mental health. Today in our communities, there's no mention of mental health. There's no mention of the depression and the anxiety and the stress that is very prevalent in many communities, Muslim and non-Muslim communities. Some of us, we think that if we don't talk about an issue, then that means it doesn't exist. That means it's not there. Just by not talking about it, it's not going to go away. We need to discuss these issues. We need to talk about these topics. But some topics have become taboo. You can't talk about them. You know, today if you have a stomach pain, if you have heart pain, if you have pain in your body, what do? You go to the doctor, right? You go to the doctor to find treatment. But someone who has depression, they won't go. Why? Because they're afraid what people are going to say about this person. People are going to say, oh, this person has lack of faith. This person is not praying really well. If this person was praying better, they would not be depressed. They wouldn't go through anxiety. They wouldn't have these problems that exist in the community. Whereas that's not true. Mental health problems, they need to be treated just like diabetes. Diabetes, when someone has diabetes, it means they have low insulin in their body. Depression and mental health, it means there's a chemical imbalance in the brain. There's something low in the brain. So it needs a medication. It needs to be treated properly. But in our communities, this is a taboo topic. We don't want to talk about it. Because if you talk about it, it means there's a problem with this person. It means there's an issue with this person. And this person might, for example, some people might say this person doesn't pray properly. This person doesn't pray really well. When this is not true. According to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, 7 million American adults over the age of 65 experience depression each year. 7 million over the age of 65. And the CDC also reports that adults over the age 65, they make up 16% of suicide deaths in the year 2004. So this shows that depression and stress and anxiety and these type of problems, these mental health issues, they're not just to, people who, younger people or people who don't pray. No, a lot of people, they do pray. In fact, I know some people who pray Salatul Layl, but they go to the doctor and the doctor says they diagnose them with depression. It's a feeling of being low, a feeling of being sad, which lasts much longer than usual. What should we do? The solution is simple. You go to the doctor. Sometimes some people, they come to me and they tell me, I have this problem. I tell them, Habibi, this is not my job. I learned fiqh. I could answer you with some answers I could answer you. There are some issues you need to go see a doctor. You need to be treated, and it's not wrong to go see a doctor. Prophet Musa alayhi salam, a prophet of God, Moses, the hadith says that one day Prophet Musa was sick. So he wasn't being treated. He keeps praying. He keeps asking God to treat him, and he's not getting better. So one day he asks God. He tells God, Ilahi, I'm a prophet of God. I've been praying, but I'm not getting any better. Allah tells him, oh Moses, go to the doctor and you will get better. It's that simple. Go to the doctor and you'll get better. The doctor, is he going to bring something on his own? No. The doctor, he's also going to bring medicine that is created by God. Medicine that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينَ. Yes, it's Allah who cures me, but Allah has steps. You don't just pray and boom, everything is there, There's a way. There's a way to get everything. So even Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Allah tells him, go and pray. And the solution is going and finding the right sources to find these problems. Another issue that's taboo in our communities is the issue of suicide. Suicide is more common than we think. Suicide is very common within the general population and even within the Muslim community. People before, they used to say, you know what? No, it's only the non-believers. It's only people who have lack of faith, people who don't pray, they commit suicide. But people who pray, they don't have that problem. Where'd you get this from? Where is this from? I know a person who has gone to Hajj, but his life turned around and he ended up taking his own life. Does that mean that every person who's a non-believer, only non-believers, they end up commit suicide? No. It's a mental health issue and it needs to be treated properly. But the problem is we have made it a taboo topic. You go to some communities and everyone is keeping it on the hush. Someone passed away and no one wants to say anything. No one wants to deal with the problem. No one wants to come and shed light on this problem. Everyone says, no, he just died. We don't even know how. They just passed away. We don't even want to talk about it. And it creates a problem. It doesn't create a solution. By staying quiet, by ignoring these problems, we're not going to have a solution. We need to deal with these problems. There's no mechanism in our communities to deal with these problems. And a lot of times, someone who's suffering from depression, from anxiety, someone who's suicidal, right away this person is accused of having lack of faith in God. So this makes it even worse for this person. It makes it very worse for this person. This person, they can't even find solutions. And then once a person commits suicide, people, they go and they're giving condolences to the family, and they say, yes, my condolences to you because your son or your daughter is going to hell. This is what some people do. This is a taboo topic that needs to be treated. And this is why we wonder why some people avoid coming to the masjid. Because of the judgmental environment that exists in some communities. And this is wrong, and this is un-Islamic. Another issue, the topic of drugs, drug addiction. Drug addiction is a major problem even within the Muslim community. But some people, they say, no, let's not talk about it. Let's just put it aside. Let's ignore it. Let's talk about everything else and not talk about this. Just because we don't talk about it, is it going to go away? Of course not. We need to study these. We need to talk about these. We need to find solutions collectively. We need to gather and find solutions. According to studies, 20 million Americans suffer from drug and alcohol abuse. And recreational drugs are the #1 cause of accidental deaths in the United States. The #1 cause of accidental deaths is drugs. Something that is very common, very prevalent. And today you see state after state is legalizing marijuana, which is a gateway drug. Once people start going towards this drug, then they're going to go to another drug because they want to get the high. Once they realize that this doesn't take them high enough, they're going to go and take other drugs. So it might seem like the progressive thing to do, but in fact it's something that's destroying society. It's destroying our communities, and we need to find a solution for it. Drugs are the leading cause of death for those under 50. There are many mothers and fathers within our communities. I know these stories. There are many mothers and fathers within our communities that can't sleep at night. Why? Because their children are doing drugs. If they go to the masjid, if they go to the community, they tell them, my kids are doing drugs. Let's find a solution. Right away, everyone's going to say, oh, you're a bad parent, you're a bad mother, you're a bad father. This is how it's become a taboo topic. They don't find a solution, they don't deal with it until it becomes worse. I met a father, he came to me, he tells me, Sayyid, I was looking in the clothes of my son, I found in his pocket a letter saying, dear father, if you find me dead one day, know that it's not your fault. I'm addicted to this drug. What would a father do when they see this? What does a father do when they read a letter that their son has prepared? They go and they rip up the letter, they find another letter, and then another letter, and another letter. So I was telling him, why doesn't he just stop? If he knows it's wrong, why doesn't he just stop? He tells me, Sayyid, you don't understand. It's an addiction. You can't just tell someone who's addicted, stop. Are they going to stop when you tell them? You need to go and find solutions. You need to go and deal with the problem in the right way. You can't just tell someone stop when they're addicted to something. And this is where we have shortcomings, and we should admit this. This is where we have shortcomings as a community, as a religious institution, as a community, as a collective community. What have we done to deal with the problems in our communities, deal with the problems in our societies? The places of prayer, the institutions, the religious institutions have just become, they have confined and been limited to just a place of prayer, just a place where we come and we listen to lectures. Is this how the mosque was during the time of Rasulullah? During the time of Rasulullah, the mosque was the place where everyone goes to find every solution for every problem that exists. That's where you find solutions to problems. The mosque should not be limited. The mosque should not just be confined to a place where we just come and pray, we socialize, we have a sandwich, and we leave, and then we go home. No, this is not what religion is. Our mosques should be a place where It's an inclusive environment where everyone feels that they belong. Everyone feels that they're happy. Everyone feels they belong in the mosque. No one should feel unwanted in a mosque. No one should be looked at in a bad way just because of a problem that they're going through in their life. And this is our issue. This is not Islam. Islam is a pure religion. The Quran is a pure book. Rasulullah and the Ahlul Bayt, they came and they delivered. We are the ones who are pushing people. We are the ones who are ruining the true message. And this is why we have to fix that. The religion of Islam came with a message of perfection, to perfect our lives. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. O you people who believe, answer the call of Allah and the Prophet, for they invited you to something that will give you life, that will give you quality life. The religion of Islam is a religion of quality life. Everyone should feel satisfied in the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam brings a solution to every problem. If some people don't find a solution, it's not the fault of the religion, it's the fault of the community. We need to find a solution to that. And this is what Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam did. The whole struggle of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was a struggle to make the religion of Islam not a religion that's limited to one day at the church, one day at the mosque, one day you come and you pray, and then once you leave the masjid, then you're going to go and live your lifestyle completely different. Islam is a way of life. Yazid, he wanted Islam to be limited to the masjid. He wanted the Quran to be limited in the masjid. You go in the mosque, you pray, and then once you leave, he goes and do whatever you want. You go and you commit all the crimes you want. This is what he wanted. He wanted people to just limit the Quran and the religion of Islam and prayer in the mosque. Imam al-Hussein said, no, Islam is a way of life. Islam is a religion that should be practiced in all aspects of life. And this is why Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he did not give allegiance to Yazid. Yazid was trying to limit the religion of Islam, whereas Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he was giving the true perception, the true perspective on the religion of Islam. And that is a way of life. The religion of Islam is a way of life. And this is why not many people are willing to make the religion a way of life. People, they want to limit the religion. I'm going to practice, I'm going to wear hijab, I'm going to pray in the masjid, I'm going to do whatever it is in the mosque. Once I leave the mosque, I want to be free. I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he says, real religion is when you practice it in every aspect of your life. And that's why he didn't give allegiance to a man like Yazid. And only a handful of people came out to support Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Only a handful of people, they came out to be with Imam al-Hussein. But throughout his whole mission, from the beginning of his mission until the end, Imam al-Hussein was inviting every single person. He wanted everyone to have the opportunity to answer the call. He didn't want the religion to be limited, to be exclusive to a small group of people. Imam al-Hussein in Medina, he tells people, I'm going, come with me. Once he goes to Mecca, he tells people, I'm going to go. He makes that declaration next to the Kaaba. And during the season of Hajj, he tells them, I'm leaving. Whoever wants to join me, let them join me. On his way, while he's traveling, it was about 21 days from the time Imam al-Hussein left Mecca until the time he arrived to Karbala. Every day he would see a caravan, he would see someone, he would come and he would invite that person. Imam al-Hussein, he knew that he was going to go towards sacrifice. He knew that he was going to go towards martyrdom. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he wanted to give everyone an opportunity to be guided. Imam al-Hussein wanted the whole world to know that what he's doing, this religion is inclusive. It includes everyone. This is why he offered everyone the opportunity to come with him. But only a small group of people answered the call of Imam al-Hussein. 30,000 they gathered to kill the grandson of Rasulullah, and a small group of people, they answered the call of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. There was a man, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he on his way to Iraq, on his way in Iraq, he passed by an area by the name of Qasr Bani Muqatil. This is an area, there's a place, it exists until now, Qasr Bani Muqatil. In that area, as the caravan he passed, he stopped in that area. He saw there was a tent, and outside of the tent there's a horse, and there's a sword that is placed in the ground outside the tent. So Imam al-Hussein, he sends one of his companions. He tells him, go and see who's in there. Go and see who this person is. So they come to him and they tell him there's a man by the name of Ubaydullah ibn al-Hurr al-Ju'fi. Ubaydullah ibn al-Hurr al-Ju'fi. And Imam al-Hussein, when he heard his name, he knew who this person was. This person was a man from Kufa. A man who was supposedly on the side of Imam al-Hussein. A man who knew who Imam al-Hussein was. He knew who the father of Imam al-Hussein was. He's not a stranger. So Imam al-Hussein, he sends one of his companions, Al-Hajjaj ibn Masruq al-Ju'fi, from the same family. He sends him, he tells him, go and tell Ubaydullah to join us, to come with us. Give him the opportunity to come with us. So Al-Hajjaj, he goes to Ubaydullah and he tells him, I'm a messenger from the grandson of Rasulullah, from the grandson of the Prophet of Islam. And he's inviting you to join him, to join in this cause with him. Ubaydullah, he tells him, he says, Hussein is the very reason I left Kufa. I saw the turmoil that was going on in Kufa. I realized that people are going to betray Imam al-Hussein. I didn't want to put myself in that position, so I left Kufa. So I don't see Hussein, and now Hussein comes to me. So this man, Al-Hajjaj, he goes back to Imam al-Hussein and he tells him he refused to come. So this time, the narration says that Imam al-Hussein, he himself went. He himself went to Ubaydullah. He goes to Ubaydullah and he narrates that he went with his children and with his kids with him. He goes with him. And Imam al-Hussein, he tells him, oh Ubaydullah, isn't it time that you come and you join us? You are from Kufa, and you, the people of Kufa, you invited me. So now I came to you. So come and join me, come and be with me. Ubaydullah, he tells Imam al-Hussein, I'm afraid of death. I don't want to be with you. You're the reason I left Kufa. But I know that you're right. I know that you're on the right path, and I know that Yazid and Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad are wrong. I know you're the grandson of the Prophet. I know that justice and what's right is with you. But I can't. But I'll give you an offer. I'm going to give you my horse. I have a very fast horse. Anytime someone chased me and I was on this horse, they were not able to catch me. And anytime I chased someone and I was on the horse, I was able to catch that person. Imam al-Hussein, he tells him, La hajata lana bifarasik. I don't need your horse. I didn't come here to ask you for a horse. What's a horse? I came here to give you the opportunity to enter paradise with us. I came here to give you an opportunity that not many people have. This is what I came here for. We don't need your horse. But listen, let me tell you something. If you are in this area and you hear our cries when we are being attacked and we are being killed, then you're going to go straight to the hellfire. So keep yourself away from here. Keep yourself away from us. Don't hear our cries, because if you hear it, Allah is going to punish you for that. Because you had the opportunity to help the grandson of Rasulullah and you didn't. This was one person who refused to be the companion of Imam al-Hussein. And this is why the companions of Imam al-Hussein are numbered. They narrate 72, 73 companions of Imam al-Hussein. And the companions of Imam al-Hussein, they came from all over. There was the old, there was the young, there was women, there were children, there were freed slaves that were with Imam al-Hussein. There was a Christian who was with Imam al-Hussein. People from all over, they came to be with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. This is why on the day of Ashura, on the night of Ashura, Imam al-Hussein, He gave them all permission. He tells them, go. Now it's nighttime. If you want to leave, go. I'm not making it obligatory for you to stay. They all decided to stay. One of them, he tells him, oh Aba Abdullah, if I were to be cut up into pieces and I would be burned and my body and I would come back to life and this happens to me 70 times, I would do it all over again for you. Because I know I'm on the right path. This is why Imam al-Hussein, he says a statement about his companions that holds true, and that is, he says, إِنِّي لَا أَعْلَمْ أَصْحَابًا أَوْفَى وَلَا خَيْرًا مِّنْ أَصْحَابِي. I don't know any companions more loyal than my companions. Meaning that the companions of Imam al-Hussein are more loyal than the companions of Rasulullah. Even though there were 70, they were very numbered, but they were a group of men that were willing to sacrifice everything for the sake of Imam al-Hussein. A man by the name of Amr bin Qard al-Ansari. This man on the day of Ashura, when the battle began, this man, he took it upon himself to stand in front of Imam al-Hussein while all of the arrows and the swords were being thrown at Imam al-Hussein. This man, he would use his body as a shield for the grandson of Rasulullah. An arrow comes from one side, he goes to the right, and he welcomes the arrow with his body. An arrow comes from another side, he moves, and the arrow enters into his body until his body was filled with arrows. He falls to the ground and he tells Imam al-Hussein, هَلْ وَفَيْتْ يَبْنَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Did I do my job? Did I fulfill my duty to you, O Aba Abdullah? Imam al-Hussein tells him, yes, and you're going to enter paradise before me. You're going to be with me in paradise. Another man, Muslim ibn Awsajah. Muslim ibn Awsajah, this man was a great companion of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. In the middle of the battle, after he's hurt, after he falls to the ground, he sees Habib ibn Mudahir. He sees Habib ibn Mudahir. Habib ibn Mudahir, he tells him, oh Muslim, if I knew that I was going to remain for a while and you want to tell me something, if I could serve you with anything, what can I do for you? While Muslim ibn Awsaj is on the ground dying, he tells him, أوصيك بهذا الرجل أن تموت دونه. He says, oh Habib, I ask you to not abandon Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. I ask you to never leave Imam al-Hussein and be with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. There was another companion of Imam al-Hussein. This man, he was a slave. He was a freed slave. And he came and he was with Imam al-Hussein. John, Mawla Abi Dhar. This man used to belong to Abu Dhar, and then he moved to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and then Imam al-Hasan, and then Imam al-Hussein. On the day of Ashura, he was a servant in the house. On the day of Ashura, he comes to Imam al-Hussein and he tells him, oh Aba Abdullah, give me permission to join you. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he tells him, Ya Joan, innama tabi'tana talaban lil-afiyah. Oh Joan, you followed us because you had to be with us. You were with us and we were feeding you, we were giving you. Now you could go and leave. We're going to be killed. You don't need to stay with us. Joan, he began to cry. He began to kiss the feet of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And he tells him, Ya Aba Abdullah, ana fi al-rakha alhasu qisa'akum. وَفِي الشِّدَّةِ أَخْذُلُكُمْ. Oh Aba Abdullah, I eat from your food. You have been feeding me this whole time, and now during discomfort you expect me to leave you? No, I shall never leave you until my blood is mixed with your blood. And then he goes out, he carries his sword, and he begins to fight them, and he begins to call out, كيف ترى الكفار ضرب الأسود بالسيف ضربا عن بني محمد أذب عنهم باللسان واليد أرجو به الجنة يوم المورد. He fights until he falls on the ground. Here they say that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he went and he threw himself on Joan. They say that he treated Joan the same way he treated his son Ali al-Akbar. He placed his body on Joan and he begins to do dua for Joan Mawla Abi Dhar. After all of the companions were killed, Imam al-Hussein, he looks to the right, he looks to the left. He sees that there is no one there to help him, no one there to support him. He begins to call out, ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا ألا هل من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله. Is there anyone that will come and support us? Is there anyone that will defend the women of Rasulullah? There was no answer. He begins to call them name by name, beginning with Muslim ibn Aqil. Ya Muslim ibn Aqil, wa ya Hani ibn Urwa, ya Habib ibn Mudahir, ya Zuhair ibn al-Qayn. He begins to call them all, and then he says, Ya Abtal al-Safa, wa ya Fursan al-Hayja, ما لي أناديكم فلا تجيبون وأدعوكم فلا تسمعون أأنتم نيام أرجوكم تنتبهون قوموا عن نومتكم يا كرام. He calls them, he says, why is it that you don't answer me? Why is it that you are not helping us? And then he answers himself. He says, because you already fulfilled your task. You already fulfilled what you had to do. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.